Well, hello there, class, and welcome to the start of our fall semester here in PPSY 555, Career Development Theories and Techniques. My name is Jeff Boy, and I'll be your professor this semester. Super excited to be part of this class. A lot of changes in my life as of late. I actually, after 12 and a half years, left my full-time position at Azusa Pacific University, and I've recently started as the Associate Director for Career Strategy at the Drucker School at the Claremont Graduate University, just about 11 miles up the road from APU, the main campus anyway. So really excited to do the work on a full-time basis that I get to teach in this class. So I've been operating a small boutique coaching and consulting, mainly life coaching, career coaching, executive coaching firm for the past decade or so, focused on career, but it's always been kind of, I guess as the kids are saying these days, a side hustle. And so now getting to do this work full time in addition to the consulting work on the side and then teaching this content. So I left a faculty role at APU and I got to teach a number of courses there, many of them focused on career. And now with my career transition myself, I'll be teaching only primarily, I think, this course, which is really exciting to me because it's probably the favorite class that I get to teach. So we're going to kind of just jump into some different types of content than what you're probably used to as part of the Marriage and Family Therapy MA in Clinical Psychology program. The class is not live yet, so don't worry about that. We're going to ease into things this first week, and really it's just an opportunity for you to introduce yourself to the class, talk about your experiences with online education. What is it you're excited about? What are you kind of maybe even say a bit fearful about? What are you not looking forward to? And then really giving me some information so that I can better understand your needs and how to address them and meet you and support you in ways that I can this semester. A couple things for you as you get into things. The syllabus should be posted this evening. In addition, or I guess in tandem, I'll say, with this video. I want to make mention of this book here. So, Well-Being: The 5 Essential Elements. It's written by Tom Rath and Jim Harder. It's a great book, and this is going to be the first book that we will look at. So, my hope is that you have your books. Again, as I mentioned in my email last night, all of the books have been online in the bookstore for quite some time now, so my hope is that you have not been waiting to see the syllabus. That should never be the case because the books actually by law are required to be online in the bookstore and accessible to students well in advance of the beginning of the semester. And so they should be there waiting for you. I checked the other day and they're there, so they should have been for quite some time, as I mentioned. This book, though, Well-Being, is the first book that we will read. You need to purchase a brand new copy of it, okay? And the reason for that is because in the back of the book, in fact, I was looking in the back of my book, it's no longer there, but if you open it up, and here you go, there's this last kind of blank page right by the cover, and then you can't really see it, but in the spine is, much like many of the Gallup texts, there is a space where there's a code for you. And if you bought a used book, it won't work for you, which is why the online bookstore and the bookstore itself sells only new copies of the book. You must have a new copy of this book so that you can access the assessment code, and it gives instructions in that little insert there. Cut it out and go and use the website and take the assessment. What I'm asking you is to not read the book before you take the assessment. Make sure that you complete the assessment first and then read the book so that your understanding of the actual content is not tainted in any way, shape, or form. Okay? This will kind of provide a foundation for where we're headed in some ways anyway as we jump into the content this week. Once I do post the syllabus, and you've seen that, I will spend some time later this week coming back online in form of video and explaining a number of the intricacies of the syllabus itself. The thing that I found in online education is that you don't want me spending 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes posting videos and talking about things that you really don't care all that much about. So I will, for the most part, post somewhere between 12 and 15-minute videos, primarily once a week. Maybe sometimes you'll get a couple of different videos from me, but I try to keep them brief and filled with information that is need to know information compared to just a bunch of me talking and you listening to me blabber on. Okay. The other thing you should know about me is I don't like busy work. And so when you look at the assignments, please know that I am very intentional with what it is that I'm asking you to do each unit. It is not there to keep you busy, because what I have found is busy work for you causes busy work for me. And if I don't like busy work, why would I give you busy work that's going to cause busy work for me? So I will admit it's a bit selfish to not like busy work, but now you understand kind of how I think when it comes to those assignments. So everything that I'm asking you to do is very intentional this semester. Okay, so I'll talk more about what all of that looks like. But what I thought I would do is, in addition to sharing a bit more about me, I wanted to kind of explain how I see this connection between therapy, so counseling therapy, and career. Okay, so let me talk about kind of my background experience. It started all about 11 years ago in my foray into career development. I actually spent some time underemployed, had a graduate degree, several years of experience, and spent a total of 9 months applying for, wait for it, 217 jobs. And when I finally gained full-time permanent employment at the end of that 9-month period of time, I said to myself, I'm going to make my life's work, the rest of what I do, be about helping people not have to go through the same experiences and challenges that I did. And so that's what I did. So here I am sitting in a new office doing that work full-time, teaching this class, helping you to understand why career counseling is so important, and even perhaps how you can incorporate it into your work as you go on to be a therapist in the future. So let me talk about that. So let me give you an example. Okay, here's an example, and I'm going to make some kind of overarching kind of broad brush stroke statements, but I think you'll understand where I'm going with this. So let's just say there's a family, okay? And this family is going through some family strife. Mom and dad and 2 kids, okay? So dad has been working as a senior level executive for a Fortune 500 company for a number of years, making good money. They have a beautiful home. They've never had a shortage of food or material goods. And recently, dad has been laid off. And mom was at home. She was highly involved at the kids' school. So she was president of the PTA. She loved volunteering. She was very active with Habitat for Humanity. And she gave her time serving the community in several different venues. There was a 16-year-old daughter and a 14-year-old son. 16-year-old daughter is going into her junior year of high school. She's super excited because she has all these friends, and she was to be the first driver in her circle of friends. 14-year-old son is very popular in junior high. Always had the coolest shoes, coolest clothes, and he was the one that everybody wanted to not only be, but also wanted to be with. When dad lost his job, there was a bit of a regression as far as popularity goes, and belongings and acceptance within this circle of friends for the teens. Dad started to drink pretty heavily, went into a state of depression, and mom was begging him to seek a counselor. Turns out that everything can be traced back to career. So 14-year-old son is getting in trouble and actually got in a fight recently with who was his best friend, and was been in the principal's office in the last 3 weeks, 3 separate occasions. The daughter is coming home every day and shutting herself in her room, talking to nobody. Turns out she has picked up some habits that were not normal to her past, and mom and dad are just at a loss because it seems as though the family is coming unraveled. So what is going on? So they finally, after much kind of begging and pushing and prodding, go see a counselor. And the therapist says, I want to see everybody separately. And so not getting a whole lot of anywhere with the group as a whole, sits down with the dad and says, what's going on? Of course, it's hard for him to talk about having lost his job because his identity is found in his work. He says, nothing's wrong. And she said, well, that's not true because I understand that you have been depressed. You've been drinking heavily. So what is all of this about? He says, well, I guess, it's just that I don't have a job anymore. And who I was wrapped up in what I did for work. And after 25 years of senior level executive positions, that's gone. And I don't know who I am. Okay, that's a great start. So mom comes in, what's wrong with you? And she says, well, my husband is, back. He's in shambles from a personality standpoint, from a personal standpoint. I've had to go back to work, and so I'm not home, and I don't get to see the kids come home from school. I don't have my husband where we had our regular date nights, and it's just been very challenging. I don't get to be involved in volunteerism as I've been so prone to do, and life has just been very challenging as of late. Okay, so that's a great start as well. Goes to the 16-year-old daughter and says, hey, I understand that things have not been great with your family. You've been locking yourself in your room, picked up some habits that perhaps were not as healthy as the ones that you had beforehand. Can you tell me what's happening? Oh, nothing's going on. Well, no, what's happening? Finally, it comes out that she's angry at mom and dad, especially her dad, because she had been promised upon turning 16 a car, and she was to be the first in her circle of friends with a vehicle. She could drive all of them around. Her popularity stemmed in large part because of that. And now Gina, yes, a friend, but also her arch rival, was number 2 to turn 16. And now all of the circle of friends that she's been a part of, they are now spending time with Gina, who is driving, whereas she is not. And so she's angry at her mom and dad, and she's had to find acceptance in another group of friends. It's a great start. And then the 14-year-old son, what's going on with you? Why did you get in a fight with your best friend? He's not my best friend. He called me, loser, and he said I was stupid, and he said I wasn't cool anymore because I didn't have all the cool clothes, and really had some challenges with that. And he's angry, just incredibly angry at his parents because he no longer has the material goods that he one time did when dad had his job. And so you can see the fallout of these relationships. You can see the fallout not just with the family itself, but with their external relationships. And their healthy habits and the way that they've been living life has all kind of, in many ways, not been completely ruined, but it is in some ways ruinous. And it all stems back to this fact that dad has lost his job and everything has changed relationally and unoccupationally as it was. And so now we're seeing the fallout of this take place in these individual and soon to be group counseling sessions that they will conduct as a family. And so I think one of the things that it's a simple example, but I bring that up because when you meet with clients, you may not be specifically and maybe not even solely dealing with career-related issues, but I can almost guarantee that much of what you'll be working through will have to do with something related to work. And so while you may not have been thinking, oh yeah, this whole field of career counseling is so tightly woven, tightly connected to marriage and family therapy or just to therapy or counseling in general, what I want to encourage you to think about is that yes, in fact, it is very connected. And you may find that the more you get into our class, you will start to see connections that will help you to ask specific questions of clients who may not be coming to see you having to do anything with their job or their work or their lack thereof. But what you'll find as you read well-being and you get into the text, Tom Rath and Jim Harder will talk about how impactful one's job is to our overall well-being. And so as you think about that, I want you to kind of just set your mind to see that there are some pretty remarkable connections between what we do for work, why it matters to our lives, and how it impacts the realm and the rest of marriage and family therapy and the fields of counseling. So that's all I have for you this evening. I'm so looking forward to learning with you this semester. I want you to know that I'm here to support you in any way I possibly can. You will do a good amount of work. You'll do some great reading. But I do believe that you will enjoy your time because the books are great, the questions are insightful and cause you to think about you and how you view a lot of the content that we're exploring. And I bet that you'll even find that this class, while you're learning how to help others, will be very helpful for you as well. So I'll be back this week with more information. When I do post the class tomorrow morning, feel free to get in there and kind of poke around and get a feel for things. I'll be making some adjustments still as it changes every semester, but I'm looking forward to a great semester and I hope that you are as well. I will see you online starting tomorrow.